Hi everyone, welcome to Practically We Bring Learning Alive. So in this today's session, okay, we are going to discuss Term-2 fast track for class 10, okay, for the computer science. So today's session is about CSS, how we can use the CSS to provide style to the web pages, that the web pages we design using the HTML. Okay. Hi Sankshipt, good evening. So my audio is clear, you can hear me. If you can hear me, please do confirm in the chat. If you are getting my audio, please comment in the chat and let me know. Sankshipt. Okay, so yes, audible, good. So moving back to the topic, okay, so we are going to see CSS, okay. CSS is nothing but the cascading style sheets, okay. This is the full form of CSS. Why we use the CSS? Okay, we use CSS to provide styles, various different styles to the HTML elements. Okay, we can design beautiful web pages with the help of CSS. So HTML is used to provide the content. Okay, the content, the layout of the web page we can design using the HTML. Using CSS, we can give style to the web pages. Okay, suppose you want to provide some text color, you want to provide some background color, okay, you want to set the font size, okay, so all this styling thing can be done using the CSS. Even you can set the animations also using the CSS. And the last thing is the JavaScript. Using the JavaScript, we can set the behavior of the web pages, how the web pages are going to be behaved. Okay, by clicking this button, this section to be performed. So all those behavior can be set with the help of JavaScript. Okay, so we will see JavaScript in some later time. Okay, some other time. But today we are going to discuss the CSS. Okay, how we can give the CSS to the web pages so that we can give our own style to the web pages. So what is the CSS syntax? How we can write the CSS syntax? Okay, simple thing is, first we have to write the element, any element name to which you want to give a style, any style, whether it may be paragraph, okay, audio, heading, image, video, any tag, div tag, any tag. First we have to write the element here. Okay, then after that we can specify the properties. Okay, properties contains properties and values. Okay, so this thing is known as the selector. With the help of selector, CSS selector, we can select the HTML elements. Okay, without selector we cannot provide any style to the any HTML document. So first we have to select a particular thing. First we have to target anything. Then only we can apply the style, particular style. So this H1 here is the selector. It is known as selector. And this whole, this thing is the property, and this from opening bracket till to the closing bracket, curly bracket, this thing is known as the declaration. Okay. And inside the declaration there are two things. One is property, another is value. Okay, so first is H1, then from opening bracket till to the closing bracket, this is called the declaration, and inside declaration there are two more parts. One is called property, another is value of that particular property. Okay, now how we write the CSS code? Okay, this is how we write the CSS code. H1, then color is blue, the background color of H1 is yellow, and we are giving some border also. These all things which are in blue color are known as the properties, and values which are coming after colon are known as the values. Okay, blue, yellow, black, this one pixel is also value, solid is also value. Okay, and each and everything should be ended with a semicolon, and then the closing bracket. This is one CSS code. opening bracket to the closing bracket and including h1, and another CSS code is p. So we are giving some red color to a particular paragraph. Okay, now let us write this CSS code. Okay, so let's open this VS Code, and we will try to give the CSS style to. Okay, this is one of the HTML file. Okay, so let's remove this one. Okay, and write this one paragraph tag. Okay, so we'll come to practical. Okay, this is one of the paragraph, and this body tag also contain one h1. So instead of this, let's write web development. Okay, and here let's write coding courses. Okay, so save this file and run this with any web browser. Okay, so this is the our output. Okay, this web page contain one heading and one simple paragraph. Okay, so now I want to give color. Right now it is in black color and the background is blank, white blank. Okay, white background. So I want to give some style to these two elements, HTML elements. So how I can give the style? Okay, first I need to select this thing. So there are three ways. In three ways I can give CSS style to the HTML elements. In three ways. Okay, so yeah, hi Lucky. So there are three methods in which I can give style to the HTML elements. So first method is, suppose this h1 is the head coding courses, this h1. Okay, I want to convert this to the red color. Okay, I want to give this text as red color. So how? So first method we are going to use. Okay, so come in the inside h1. Okay, I think now it is visible to you. So inside h1 write style. Okay, and here we are going to give the properties and values. Okay, so first properties take color, and I want to give which color? Red color. Okay, and close this using semicolon. Save this one and refresh. So see, now it is in red color. Okay, now it come in the red color form. So this style attribute, we use the style attribute. Okay, to give color to the text coding courses. Okay, so this type of styling is known as inline style. Okay, inline CSS. This type of style is known as the inline style. Okay, fine. Let's make it comment. Okay. So using inline style method, we provided the style to this text. Okay, this is the comment here. Whatever I write, web browser will ignore. Okay, whatever I write inside this quotation, this is the comment. This is not part of the code. This is we have written for our understanding purpose. Okay, so this is first method. Using this, I can provide the style to the HTML element. The first method is known as the inline method. What we do in the inline method means we use the style attribute. We use the style attribute, and using style attribute we write properties and values inside this double quotes, and we ended with this semicolon. Okay, so this is how we can provide the inline style to the HTML elements. We got the red color. Okay, now if we want, we can change also. Okay, we can provide one more value here. So now we are going to use this internal CSS, the second method. Okay, so what we do in the internal CSS? In the internal CSS, we use the style tag. In the inline CSS, we use the style attribute, but here in the internal CSS, that is the second method, we use the style tag in the header section of the head section of the HTML element. So this is the head section. Here we write the code. Okay, here we write the code. Okay, fine. So what is the code that we want to write? Okay, I want, in the second case, I want to give style to this paragraph. I want to change the color of this welcome to web development, and as well as I want to increase the font size. Okay, so this is the output, as well as I want to increase the font size. So how? So come here. Okay, in the style attribute. So first we need to select that thing using the CSS selector to which I want to apply style, to which element I need to select that element. So how I can select? With the help of CSS selector. Okay, so suppose I want to apply style to the paragraph, so I just need to write the P. Okay, then in the opening braces and curly opening and closing, in between that I have to write the CSS code. Okay, so first is, let's write color. First thing is, I want to change the color to blue. Okay, so first thing is blue. Wait, it's not coming. Okay, I written it wrong. It should be style. Okay, spelling mistake. Fine. So color blue. Okay, so save this one and go back to the browser and refresh it. So we got our text in paragraph text in the blue color. Okay, welcome to web development. So now this page is looking like very empty. So I want to change the background color of this whole web page. So I can change it. Okay, so go back to the browser and go back to the code file, and we are going to select the entire body. Okay, entire body of the HTML document, and we are going to write here code. So what is the property name is? Property name is background color. Okay, in this property name background color, we are going to select one color. Which color? Okay, write sky blue and save this. So and refresh this. So we got the sky blue color. Okay, so this second method of applying the style to the web pages is known as internal CSS. What we do in the internal CSS means we write this CSS code using one style tag, and we write that style tag inside head section of the HTML document. Okay, this is the head section. So this whole part from body to this, from opening body to the closing body, this is the HTML code, and this is the CSS code. Okay, fine. Now there is a third method of applying the CSS to the HTML documents. Okay, using the third method, we can also apply the styles, different styles to the HTML document. So this method is known as external CSS. What we do in the external CSS means we take one new file. Okay, and that file will be CSS file. Okay, that file will be the CSS file. This is the HTML file and this is the CSS file. So save this file in the same folder where HTML file is there. Okay, so I am saving this file using the style.css. This is the name of the file. Okay, save this one. So now we have one HTML file. The name of HTML file is 1.html, and we have one style file. The name of this file is style.css. Remember, both files should be in the same folder. Okay, it will be easy to apply the styles to the HTML element. Now, to which element I want to apply the style? I need to select that element using the CSS selector, and I can write the CSS code here. Simple. Okay. And after writing, I have to link this file with this file in this header section. So first we are going to link this file in the header section. Okay, so make some space. Okay, so how? Just type style. Okay, or we can take the short form. Okay, style.css. No, it is coming in the form of class. Okay, fine. Link, not style. Sorry, forget. So link.css. So if we write link.css, okay, so in the style, what we got a new file. The file name is style.css. So go to the HTML file, and in the h reference, the file name is style.css. If you want, you can change it also. Okay, whatever you want, you can put, but the file name should be same. Okay, style.css. Now what we are going to do? We are going to write the CSS code here. Okay, what are the CSS code that we want to apply? Both files are linked now, so we can write the any CSS code here. So first thing is, I want to take one more element here. Okay, the element would be another paragraph. Okay, so like just write hello world. Okay, so now save this one. So if we go here and refresh, okay, we got three things. Why it came in blue color? Because we already applied style to the paragraph. Okay, once we write P, it will apply same style to the entire paragraph. Okay, so what I want is, I want to take one class here. Okay, class is equal to, just I can give any, okay, para2. Okay, save this one. So now come here. So class selector, we declare a class selector here. Okay, class selector can be selected using dot operation. Okay, dot operator. So say dot, what is the class name? Para2. Okay, so we are going to write para2, and here we selected that thing. Now we are going to apply the style to this. Okay, so what I want is, I want to increase the font size of the paragraph 2. So property name is font size, and I can give like 20 pixels and save this one. Now go back to the browser and refresh it. So I got the bigger text. Okay, so this is the third type of CSS. CSS name is style.css. Sorry, CSS file name is style.css, and the what is the method? Method name is external CSS. Okay, so there are three methods. This is the first method called inline CSS. Using inline CSS, we are going to use style attribute. We are going to use the style attribute. This is the style, and inside the style attribute, we can write properties and the values. Now the second method is internal CSS. In the internal CSS, what we do, we use the style tag. Okay, and we put that style tag in the head section of the HTML document, and between this style opening tag and closing tag, we can write the whatever the CSS code we want, we can write. Okay, so here we have written two CSS code for body and for paragraph. So third method is external CSS. Okay, third method is external CSS. In the external CSS, what we do, we write the CSS code in a separate file. Okay, .css, whatever the name of the file. Okay, style.css, 1.css, or whatever the file name would be there. Okay, .css would be the extension. And after writing the code here, before writing the code here, first we have to link this style.css file and this HTML file in the header section using the link tag. Okay, using the link tag, and in the h reference attribute, that is the hyperlink attribute that we studied in the HTML. Okay, so we are going to link this HTML file and this CSS file together. So whenever we add style in this file, that will be automatically applied to this HTML file. Okay, so whenever you are creating big projects, okay, whenever you are developing big websites, so it is always good to write this all HTML code in HTML file, CSS code in .css file, and JavaScript code in .js file. So 3 files should be separate from each other: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So for any reason, if anything is not working, then it will be very easy to debug. It will be very easy to find the error, where actual error is coming. Okay, so all 3 files should be separate: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And also JavaScript file can also be linked to the HTML file using the script tag. Okay, so these 3 files should be separate. So there are 3 methods. First method is inline CSS, second method is internal CSS, third method is external CSS. Okay, and in all these 3 CSS, we are going to write the style and properties only. Same thing, we are going to write the same thing. Okay, color blue, background color, this is the style, sorry, this is the property, and this is its value, property value. So this is internal. In the inline, if you see, property value, and in the external, property value. Okay, in all 3 methods of writing the CSS, we write the same thing. Okay, same thing. So yeah, 3 methods how we can write the CSS code. Now the next important thing is how we are going to select the elements. Okay, that thing is known as CSS selectors. So before applying style to anything, it is obvious we have to select that thing. Okay, if we have not selected anything, then how we can apply these styles? So it is very important to select that particular thing with the help of CSS selector. Okay, and there are basically basic 5 different selectors are there. Basic selectors. There are some advanced selectors also there. Okay, so the first type of selector, first selector, is known as the element selector. Element. Using this selector, what we do, how we can select in this selector, in the element selector, we can select the element with the help of their name only. Directly we are going to use their name. So if you see here I use P. Okay, this is the example of element select. Okay, so let me put a comment here, or name selector also. So this is the first type of selector, CSS element selector. Okay, by using the name of the element directly. So I use directly P. Okay, so if you see here, P is a direct. Okay, here next type of selector is, suppose I want to give some different style to the heading one. Okay, so here we are also going to use the name selector H1. H1, what is H1? H1 is the heading. Where I written H1? H1 coding courses. This is H1. Okay, so right now its style is red color. I want to increase size. Okay, I want to increase the size, or I want to put it to the center of the screen. I want to put this thing here. So first I need to select that thing. How? Just by using directly. This is the element selector. I'm directly using the name of the selector. Okay, name of the selector. So now what is the property? Property is text align and center. And save this one and go back to the browser and refresh. Now see, the text came to the center. Okay, so this type of selector which we are selecting directly by using the name is known as the element selector, CSS element selector. Now there is a second type of selector called class selector. We already used this class selector. Here you can see in the HTML, okay, in the second paragraph P, I mentioned class as para2. and I use this class in the CSS but using a dot. Okay, so class selectors can be selected. Okay, why we assign the class selector? Suppose we want a particular element to be a member of multiple things, then in those situation we can select the class selector. Okay, we can mention the class selector. So whenever I'm mentioning the class, okay, I have to use para, whatever name I want I can give. Okay, and that name should be repeated here with the help of dot here. Okay, now the third type of select, oh, I want to write here. Okay, let me write here class CSS class selector. This is the second type of selector. Okay, using the class we can select anything. Okay, so now the third type of selector is ID select. Okay, so ID selector we use whenever we want to give a unique identification to a particular HTML element. Then in those situations we use the ID. So let me create here, instead of hello world, okay, just write here list of courses. Okay, and I'm going to use one new element here. New element is UL. I'm going to create a list. Okay, so and I'm going to give IDs to this. Okay, ID will be list. So inside that unordered list, I'm going to create the unordered list using the UL tag. Okay, so inside that I want to insert items, some item list of items. So I can insert the items using the li tag. So if I write li here, okay, I can like insert the name of the item. So first is suppose C language. Then another item I want to insert using the li tag. Okay, so C++, HTML, CSS. So save this one and go back to the browser and refresh. Okay, so I got here list of courses. Okay, C language, C++, HTML and CSS. So instead of language, let us remove this one. Okay, so C, C++, HTML, CSS. Okay, these are the four things that we inserted, list of courses. Now if you can see in the UL tag I mentioned ID as list. Okay, now I want to give color. I want to give this C, C++, HTML and CSS a different color, not black color. Okay, suppose I want to give yellow or some different color. So okay, what is happening? I press tab. Okay, so how I can select that thing, particular thing? List. Okay, so go back to the style file. Okay, so whenever we select an ID selector, we write that selector, okay, that ID name with the help of hash. Okay, so list. Now I can give the color here. So color that I want to give is suppose brown color. Okay, save this one and go back to the browser and refresh. So we got this light brown color. Okay, so how this thing is happened? So if you come back to the CSS file, sorry, HTML file, in the HTML file there is a UL tag. Okay, in this UL tag there is an ID. Okay, ID is list. So this is the ID selector. So ID should be the unique, and only one ID we can give in the entire HTML document. Okay, I cannot write ID here with the same name like list. Okay, I cannot write like this. Okay, no, there should be only one ID. I can give this list too. Okay, not the same name. So ID should be the unique. Okay, so this is the third type of selector. Using this we can select any particular individual HTML element to apply the CSS styles. So let us write here in the comment section. And remember, for class selector we use dot, full stop. For ID selector we always use hash. Okay, so third type of selector, CSS ID selector. Fine. So now there's a fourth type of also selector, fourth type of basic selector. Okay, if you have any doubt you can comment in the chat. Okay, so I have to keep this screen active to see your chats. Okay, so now let us write the let us add some of the like another element that I want to apply the style. So let us create one OL, ordered list. Okay, so but before that I want to mention something. Okay, h2 or h3, write heading level 3. Inside this heading level 3 I want to write let us remove this thing. Okay, we'll make this systematic. Okay, C++. Instead of that we are going to write Java and Python. And here in this one here we are going to write HTML in the web development section and CSS and JavaScript. Save this one and refresh. Okay, now we got it systematic. Okay, so and instead of list of courses where it is here, so let's take one more h3 and here mention yes programming languages. Save this one and refresh. Okay, so list of courses in the programming language we have C, C++, Java, Python, and for the web development we have HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so these are the content. Now I want to give style to this the heading. Okay, this is a suppose this is h2 not h3. Okay, we are going to study the group selector, the fourth type of selector. Okay, this is bigger now. So to this heading and to this heading I want to give style using a single command, using a single quote. Okay, so I need to select both the things, this one as well as this one. So using the group selector, that is the fourth type of basic CSS selector, I can select both the things at a time. How? Let's see. So come to the style.css. Okay, here we are going to write. So first thing that I want to select here is the programming languages which is available in the h2 tag and the web development which is available in the h3 tag. Okay, so we are going to select h2 comma h3. Okay, separated by comma, and right here in the comment. Okay, CSS group selector. Okay, and here we are going to write the code. Simple. Okay, what is the style that I want to give? Okay, the style that I want to give is I want to give a different color. Okay, so color, which color I want? Green. No, green is not good, so let's take here purple, semicolon. Okay, save this and go back to the browser and refresh. See, we got purple color to the both headings. Okay, and if you want to size the identical size, Okay, font size same size. So let's set 20 pixel. Okay, both are now equal, this one and this one in the size. Okay, and if you want to give the style also, give the style also using font family. Okay, these are the different options that you will get. So you can select Vardhana. Okay, refresh. Okay, this is the different style now. Okay, and if you want to increase this list of courses, where it is, list of courses P1. Okay, so what I have written in the P1, P, just P, Pyara, where it is here. Okay, so let's increase this to 30. Fine. So this is how we have created, okay, list of courses, programming languages, web development. Fine. So the fourth type of selector is CSS group selector. Using this CSS group selector, we can select two or more elements at the same time. Okay, H2, H3, but there should be a comma. So we have selected two headings, H2, H3. Similarly, we can select H2P, okay, image, whatever the table list. So multiple things we can select with the help of CSS group selector. Okay, the syntax should be there should be compulsory comma. Okay, otherwise the meaning of this would be completely different. Okay, so now there is a fifth type of selector. Okay, this is the basic selectors. Okay, 5 different basic selectors. The fifth type of selector is universal selector. Okay, so what we do in the universal selector, we select entire elements available on this web page. Whatever the HTML elements are there, we select all elements using one single star, where it is here. Okay, if I write star means I am selected entire elements available on this HTML page, entire elements. Okay, whether it may be body, OL, LI, H2, P, H1, all elements I am selecting, all HTML tags, all HTML elements I am selecting. This is the meaning of universal selector. And how we write the universal selector? With the help of star. How we write the ID selector? With the help of hash. And how we write the universal selector? With the help of star. Okay, let's write code here. So remember, universal means star, selecting entire thing, asterisk symbol, which is available on the button number 8 on your keyboard. Okay, so what I want is, I want to give one background color to the entire element which is available on the web page. Okay, so the background color would be it should be visible, this one. Okay, save this one and let's refresh. So we got the background color to the body as well as the entire thing. Okay, so it is not looking good. Okay, so let's give some different color, some different style, another style. Suppose I want to give a border to all the elements which are available on the HTML page. So how to specify the border? Using border style, not just border. Okay, so 1 pixel. Okay, that will be the size of the border, and style should be solid, means no dashes, solid single line without any breakup. Okay, and the color would be red. Save this and refresh here. Okay, we got the borders, all the borders to all the HTML elements. Okay, so one is for this list of courses, another is for programming language heading, and this one, all the whatever the elements which are available on the web page, we are applying the same style to the entire elements using this simple selector. Simple selector is universal selector. And how we write the universal selector? Using star. Okay, so there are 5 different types of basic CSS selectors. Okay, first one is where it is. Okay, first one is here, CSS element selector. Okay, second one is CSS class selector, third one is CSS ID selector, fourth one is CSS group selector, and fifth one is CSS universal selector. So these are the different 5 basic different types of 5 different CSS selectors. Okay, so there are some advanced selectors also there. Okay, like pseudo selectors also there. So we will discuss that in the upcoming session, next session. So Sankshipt, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, the code is here. Okay, so just using the link tag. Using the link tag, we link CSS file with the HTML file. Sankshipt. So normally in the like whenever we use the universal selector, we use universal selector to set everything to the resetting our web page. Whenever we want to develop some amazing website, okay, in those situations we use universal selector to set everything to the 0. Then we can start developing our own. Okay, so like if you set margin of all elements to the 0, all elements which are available on the web page to the 0. So now margin is 0 for all the elements, and remove this line border. Okay, margin is 0 for all the elements, and you want to set some padding 10 pixel. Okay, you will get some space like this. What is margin and what is padding? Okay, we'll see this thing in the next session. That is, we have one more session for CSS, margin, padding, and some advanced CSS selectors. Okay. So what we discussed today, we discussed what is CSS. CSS is used to apply different style to the HTML elements. Okay, using CSS we can design different web pages. We can set the layout. Okay, we can give style to the web pages using CSS. We can design the structure of the web pages using the HTML, but if there is a time to give the style to that HTML elements, then we use the CSS. Okay, and there are 3 methods how we can give the CSS: inline CSS, internal CSS, external CSS. In the inline CSS, we write the CSS in the line itself using the style attribute. Okay, in the HTML tag itself here. In the internal CSS, we write the CSS code in the style tag using the style tag, which will be available in the head section of the HTML. Third type of CSS is external CSS. What we do in the external CSS means we write the code in a separate file and will name that file as style.css. CSS should be there. You can name whatever you want, but extension should be .css. And we can link that CSS file with our HTML file using the link tag. And in the href attribute, we have to mention the complete address of that file. If that file is available in the same folder, then there is no need to mention the complete address. Okay, just write the CSS style.css, name of the file. Okay, so these are the 3 methods of applying CSS to the HTML web pages. 3 methods: inline, internal, external. Now suppose we want to write. Okay, suppose we want to write CSS code. So for writing the CSS, the very first thing that we need to is we need to select that particular HTML element. So how we can select? Using the CSS selector. Okay, so there are 5 different basic types of CSS selectors are there. 5 basic types of selectors. Okay, First one is the element selector. In the element selector, we select the HTML element directly by using the name of the element. Second type of selector is the class selector. We give some class to some HTML element. Okay, the class name can be the same for multiple HTML elements. Okay, and we write the class name using the dot, then the class name, and we can apply the CSS code. The third type of selector is the ID selector. In the ID selector, we give some ID. Using the ID attribute, we give some ID name to a particular HTML element, and we write that name of the ID using the hash. Okay, remember, ID should be unique. Class can be multiple. Okay, classes can be multiple, but ID should be unique. This is the difference. And ID has the higher precedence compared to the class. Means whenever you are applying the same style, applying the style to the same element in the class as well as in the ID, so ID style will get approved, not the class one. So fourth type of selector is the CSS group selector. Here we can select more than one, two or more select HTML elements with the help of CSS group selector. We can select two or more than two HTML elements with the help of CSS group selector, and there should be comma whenever you are writing name, h2 comma h3 comma p, like this you can write this. Okay, so this is the CSS group selector. Using CSS group selector, we can select multiple HTML elements. And the last type of selector is CSS universal selector. What we do in the universal selector, we select entire elements which are available on the HTML file. All the elements, all elements, body, paragraph, list, table, image, all elements, and we give style to that. And how we select? Using this asterisk symbol, means star symbol, asterisk symbol. We use this asterisk symbol to select entire elements. That is the name universal selector. Okay, so these are the 5 different types of selectors. Okay, I hope you understood this today's session. Okay, if you enjoyed this session, do like this video. Okay, and share with your friends and subscribe to the Practically channel. So I will meet you in the next session for discussing the advanced CSS. Okay, advanced CSS selectors as well as some more style properties. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment. Otherwise, give some answers for this quiz that we discussed today. Okay, so hi Aman. So what is the full form of CSS? Okay, you can answer in the chat box. You can type your answer in the chat box. So CSS stands for A, B, C, D. What is the correct full form of CSS? So Sankshipt, if you are there, you can comment the answer in the chat. Okay, you want CSS code. Wait. Okay, this is the CSS code, Sankshipt. Okay, so answer is C, cascading style sheet. Yes, Sankshipt, you are correct. Okay, so the CSS property is used to control the elements font size. Okay, how we can control the elements means how we can increase or how we can decrease the font size of the HTML elements using the CSS properties. So what is the correct property? Text style, text size, font size, or none of the above? What is the correct answer? So Sankshipt, if you know the answer, you can answer. Otherwise, we will move to the next question. Okay, this one also see. Good. So correct answer, using the font size properties, we can set, okay, the font size. We can increase or decrease the font size of a particular element. Okay. So which of the following is the correct syntax to make the background color of all paragraph elements to yellow? Okay. So what is the correct syntax to make the paragraph elements background color of paragraph element to yellow? What is the correct code? What is the correct code to select all the paragraph element and apply the background color to yellow? So A, B, C, D. Okay. Which is the correct answer? Sankshipt, if you know the answer, you can comment. Otherwise, we will move to the next question. Okay. So yeah, correct answer is A. Very good. Okay. Correct answer is A, Sankshipt. You're getting the topics now. Fine. So the CSS properties used to make the text bold. Okay. How we can make the text bold in the CSS properties? So font weight bold, font bold, style bold. What is the correct property to make the font style to bold? So the correct answer is A. Good, very good. The correct answer is A. Fine. Now the last question is the CSS properties to draw a line around the elements outside the border. Border, outline, padding, line. So which line, which thing is used to draw a line around the HTML elements? That will be the outside the border. So the correct answer is border. No, or border. What this you are typing A for all the questions. So what is the correct answer, Sankshipt? So which property we use to draw a line around the HTML elements on four sides? Okay, so this is the last question. And the answer is outline. Okay, fine. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this today's session and do like this video and share with your friends and subscribe to the practically channel. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to the practically channel, and we are going to meet in the next session for discussing some advanced CSS properties. Okay, how we can select the things using the how we can select the HTML elements using some advanced CSS selectors, and how we can apply the animations using the CSS properties. Okay, so yeah, I will meet you for the next session. Okay, till then, take care. Bye bye.